What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is May 1st, 2025. We're standing here at the Paban, which has become the runway for arrivals at the moment. Hot day already, hardly any wind. First day in shorts and t-shirt. Happy Thursday to you all. This is SAS flight 821. Landing here. KVK weather, not a cloud to be seen. Few contrails in the sky. Lovely weather. Summery. And in a few days we're going to need our coats again. It's expected to become, I think, more than 10 degrees cooler. This is Finnair flight 1301, A350-900, arriving from bloody Helsinki. A350-900, 2 hours and 3 minutes underway, 5-year-old airplane, OHLWP, first flight December 2019. And good morning to all who have joined. Marja, goedenavond. J.W. Slijm, George T, Sander, Clemencia, Belikov, Bart, Danny Rules, Teun, Jay, good morning. Martin R, Andre, Patrick, Samuel, Thibaut, Agar, Han, good morning. German Monster, good morning. Gary, good morning. So, earlier in the morning, a couple of hours ago, the runway was used for departures. But I already mentioned it on Monday. It was expected that today, during the day at least during the morning hours, the wind was going to temporarily blow from the south or southwest. Right now it is still blowing from the east-southeast-ish. I hope it's going to pick up a bit more. It is a bit warm, hardly any wind, as you guys can see. The fields are dry. Outbound traffic again from Paban, runway 24. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke. Currently it looks like so. LC878, guten Morgen. Marcel, goedemorgen. Kahir, good morning. Annette, good morning. Or good evening to you. John, good morning. Naomi, good morning. Norwegian lipstick coming in, Embraer 190 from KLM. After that, there's a Qatar 777 arriving from Doha. Hey, Captain Jerry, also in the chat. Good to see you, man. Hope you were able to catch some Z's after Monday, or at least when you left our stream on Monday. Good morning, Teslicious, Kidalp, Philip. Certo. Is it a sunny day? Certo. Hey there, Lance, good morning. Ramon, goedemorgen. Mevrouw Patat, goedemorgen. Tina, goedemorgen. Erik, goedemorgen. Paper Chase, good morning. Matt, goedemorgen. Fatih, good morning. With the wind now having changed to the, let's call it south for simplicity's sake, we can see the wind is now blowing from the east-southeast-ish with a bias more to the south. Still only a handful of knots. It is KVK, already 20 degrees C here. Looking at what is in store, there are 3 queens on the way that I think are going to land here. Cargolax Italia arriving from Nairobi, expected 10:30. That should land here when only one runway for arrivals is open. These two airplanes are arriving from the west, so they are expected to land here unless runway use changes again. Atlas Air arriving from Miami and Cargolux also arriving from Miami. The latter ETA 112, the former 1230, and Emirates is going to the wrong runway today, at least as it stands right now, with an ETA of 107. That means it is going to land when a secondary runway for arrivals is open. That means it's going to the wrong runway. Good morning, Elizabeth. Marcel, goedemorgen. Amsterdammer 113, goedemorgen. Boreas, good morning. Paul H, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. So yeah, Vueling, Hans' favorite, arriving from Alicante, flight 1377, an A320 underway. 2 hours and 15 minutes it has journeyed to get here. It is an all-white Vueling. 2 hours 15 minutes underway. The ECOFU, 18-year-old airplane, first flight February 2007. Hey there, Caro, goedemorgen. Dave, good morning. Frits, guten Morgen. Paper Chase, good morning. Good morning, one and all. You're watching Amos Live. This is the Paban. Right now, the only runway in use for arrivals. It's the standard configuration for when the wind is blowing from the south, i.e. Kaagbaan 24, Aalsmeerbaan 18 left. For outbound traffic and for inbound traffic, primary Polderbaan, aka 18 right and center. I'm curious to see what's going to happen next week from Monday, May 5th, which this year is a national holiday here, Liberation Day, celebrated only once every 5 years, in years that are multiple of 5. From May 5th until May 10th, the Aalsmeerbaan is going to close for maintenance, regular maintenance. That's 18 left, 36 right. So that's going to have impact on runway use. I'm very curious to see what is going to be the runway use next week. This is Qatar Cargo flight 8205 arriving from Doha. 6 hours and a minute on the way. 777 freighter. 13 years old. First flight October 2011. Roadhog also back in the chat. Good morning. Bob, good evening. Now, Lance asks if I heard about the KLM 737 that had to return after takeoff to Amsterdam on Monday and on Tuesday, both times with the same flaps problem. What? Is that the flight? Yeah, I think we were witnessing, or at least somebody was mentioning that it had to return during our Monday stream, but I didn't know that it also happened on Tuesday, nor did I know that it was for the same reason. That's interesting. Hey there, Hen Air. Good morning. Henning Heu, good morning. And Jan Jansen is celebrating 9 months of membership today. Jan, thank you so much for your continued support. 9 months as a member, still enjoying your content. I'm happy to, very happy to hear that. That's the most important thing. Do let me know if you have suggestions for improvements or anything else. Jan, thank you so much for your continued support. If we're running low on supplies in the lounge, let me know. Hope you're going to stick around for many more months to come. If not as a member, then at least as a regular visitor. For now, thank you so much for your support and congratulations. 9 months, 3 months until you're going to turn green, just as green as the grass over here. This is KLM flight 1570. And we're going to see a Bombardier C-Series 300 after this. Bulgaria arriving from Sofia. I think you were right, Toon. I think that the flight on Monday was going to Barcelona, and then it returned to Amsterdam while we were streaming. Now, in the meantime, Sander Sake, what are you doing, mate? Sander just now gifting 5 memberships. Don't know why you did that, but thank you so much. I hope that everybody who receives a gifted membership from you just now will say thank you or dankjewel, and will use the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal for a month with pleasure. Thank you so much for your generosity, Sander. And I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership will enjoy it and will say thank you for it. Welcome to the Sky Lounge, new members. Don't forget to say thank you to Sander Sake if you are one of the recipients. This is Bulgaria flight 461 arriving from Sofia in Bulgaria. 2 hours 29 minutes on the way. The LZ ROM. Relatively new airplane. First flight June 2023. Good morning Manzi. Good morning Milan. Mieke, goedemorgen. Richard, goedemorgen. STR Spotter, good morning. Good morning Minecraft boys. Daan Sim World, good morning. Marianne, goedemorgen. T-Mac, good morning. Karsten, goedemorgen. Good morning. Gravitrax, yep. Good morning. So yeah, it is all clear weather here today. Just one airplane on the glide slope right now. That's EasyJet flight 28674 arriving from London Gatwick. An A320neo. And the windmill is spinning, although standing here it is only a very, very mild breeze that you're feeling. Naomi says in Dutch, 2 days of not watching airplanes was a bit of withdrawal. But she's happy that I'm back again. I'm happy to hear that, Naomi. I'm pretty sure there were also other streams that you might have been able to watch, other airports. And we also had good weather. Excellent opportunity to go out. Do wear sunscreen because it is very sunny and the sun will burn you relatively quickly. Kees, goedemorgen. Paul, goedemorgen. It's not the same. Yeah, well, I'm back, at least for the next few days, if all is well. Now, earlier I said, I think it was on Monday, that they weren't expecting any rain in the foreseeable future. Now, that's no longer the case. Yesterday I heard that during the weekend days, some isolated showers might occur. Very vague about how much, where, when. I think chances are that we're going to have dry weather during streaming hours on all upcoming days, but you never know, we'll see. Hans-Josef, guten Morgen. Janus, good morning. Gerard, goedemorgen. So yeah, we're waiting for KLM flight 1402. It is arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, and I think I have it in sight already. There it is. It is a 737-800, which is now approaching the glide slope. Gear is extending. Yeah, and those pipes are still here. Don't know until when, but I've got a feeling that they're going to be around for more than a few months. Overall, animal life over here, rather calm in the water still. Haven't seen a single water bird yet. With Russell over there, sitting on his throne high and mightily, overlooking us. And some flowers here in the field. I'm not exactly sure what they are. Are those isolated rapeseed flowers, or is the entire field supposed to become yellow? And are these just the first few that are starting to bloom? I don't know for sure. Luckily, we'll find out soon enough as the season progresses. A few crow crew members over there in the field, looking for some food and whatnot. And here we have our next airplane, KLM Flight 1402, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. "40 minutes on the way, the PHB-XB. In the meantime, outbound traffic overhead, having taken off from runway 24. "26 years old already, this airplane, hailing from April 1999. Not exactly the newest in the fleet. Kaides, tuning in from Düsseldorf, good morning. Herzlich willkommen. René, goedemorgen. Leo, goedemorgen. Firefighters already did their round. I think they might have already... Well, not all of the vehicles have been parked inside already, but most of them are. They were passing by as I was setting up here. Now, big picture wise, it is absolutely high pressure weather. The only thing not blue in the sky and are the sun and these two contra remnants. The rest of the sky is blue, not dark blue. There is a bit of haziness in the atmosphere, some moisture by the looks of it, but not a lot. This is looking to the west, again the north. This is the east, and this is looking to the south. It looks like SAS A320neo flight 1553 is going to be the next airplane to arrive. On paper, I think we should be able to see it. If only we know where we need to look. Boom. 400 times digital zoom in addition to optical zoom. That's what you get. Right, Jerry already signing off. It's time for him to sleep. Good night and see you next time, mate. Thanks for stopping by. Pjotke, goedemorgen. Good morning. Kaides asks if there is a public holiday in the Netherlands today. There isn't. The stock exchanges are closed, but the rest of the country is open and is still working. Mika, goedemorgen. Right, it looks like there's also an El Al 737 arriving from Tel Aviv, flying base a bit further to the east. I'm trying to see if I can spot it already. Bit difficult. Let's see what else is coming. Where are the heavy hitters? Ah, KLM Flight 644 is approaching. Delta Airlines Flight 74 is also arriving, still over the Gulf of Yorkshire. We're easing into the stream. Traffic flow not extremely high yet. That should improve gradually as the day progresses. Here we have SAS Flight 1553 arriving from Stockholm. 1 hour and 38 minutes on the way. It's the SEDOZ, CDOS. And there's the El Al 737 arriving from Tel Aviv in the background. Next airplane to arrive over here after SAS has landed. Swedish airplane, 8 years old, first flight April 2017. And if all is well, there should be a BA somewhere behind El Al. Oh yeah, there it is, turning in as we speak. In the meantime, Air Baltic passing overhead on its way to Tallinn. Good morning, nice soundtrack promotions. Good morning, DB Baseman. Kenna Chef Chris, good morning. Funk music, good morning. Bring back the funk. So yeah, for those of you joining us later, welcome to the show. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy, and hey, Donald and Daisy. Or are they? That's Donald. What's up with Daisy? What has she done? Has Daisy gone into a chimney or something? Interesting. Let's turn around and have a look at El Al Flight 337, which is arriving from Tel Aviv in Israel. 4 hours and 21 minutes on the way. Registration for X-Ray Echo Hotel Foxtrot. 9-year-old airplane, first flight February 2016. And the airplane visible behind it is BA Flight 430. And that's an A319 returning from London Heathrow. If all is well, we are going to see 3 Boeing 747s in today's show. 2 arriving from Miami and 1 arriving from Nairobi, Kenya is approaching. Let me see if I can quickly show you guys the map after this landing. Quick look on the map for those of you who are joining us later can tell us that, and I'm pretty sure that it should be a bit closer by now. Yeah, there we go. Cargolux is about to enter Dutch airspace already. ETA 10:38. By then, we still will have only one runway open for arrivals, and that is the runway we are standing next to. Over here above Switzerland is Jesus. Jesus is flying from Liverpool to Heraklion in Greece. So Jesus is not going to visit the Netherlands today. Another day, a godforsaken place here in the Netherlands. ETA of 12:30. Atlas Air arriving from Miami, Florida. Queen number 2 and Queen number 3 will be Cargolux, which has an ETA of 10 minutes past 1. Around the same time, Emirates is approaching. Making up time. It had an ETA of 1:07 earlier, now an ETA of 1:03, and that means it is getting a little bit closer to maybe being a candidate for the Paban. From 1 till 2, 2 runways are open for arrivals, and that usually means that the Emirates A380 is going to go to the eastmost runway. This is the westmost runway of Schiphol Airport, so the alternative is always going to be closest by and more to the east. Means that whenever an A380 is expected to arrive between 1 and 2 p.m. local time, chances of it going to the Paban when it is open for arrivals are slim to none. Good morning, Barnaby. Bom dia. Wolfie, good morning. Mike Wild, good morning. Tin Win Mient. That's a name I haven't seen for a long time in the chat. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Good morning, El Ray. Good morning to all others who have joined. Shuni, goedemorgen. And Mr. Master also back in the chat. Celebrating no less than 25 months of membership. Summer is magic. Just like AMS Live, he writes. Mate, thank you so much for the kind words. And thank you for the support, of course. 25 months. Where does time go? Not into Rick Meester's miniature airplane cabinet. It is filled to the brim. There's no room for more. Mate, good to see you again. Hope all is well. And thank you so much for all the support. Not only as a member, but also as one of our very first moderators. Hope you still like being a member and being a mod. And you still have to send me that tikkie for that coffee, mate. Hey stranger, good morning. Kanaal Koerdistan, good morning. Michel, goedemorgen. Wow, wow, wow. Flying AMS Live logo in the background. Before it is Croatia Airlines Flight 450 arriving from Zagreb in Croatia. Had a look on the map the other day after I saw a meme. Bosnian wants to go to the beach. Croatia says no. It is interesting how the Croatian coastal line is blocking Bosnia from having access to sea. That is so interesting. Croatia Airlines having arrived from Zagreb, 1 hour and 37 minutes underway. Have a look on the map. It's quite interesting to see. Very long stretched, narrow strip of land that belongs to Croatia, sort of blocking Bosnia from having access to sea. It has landed here. 25-year-old airplane. Let's quickly turn back. KLM flight 644 arriving from New York, JFK. 787-10 Dreamliner. 6 hours and 33 minutes underway. Brand new airplane, the PHBKO Bravo Kilo Oscar. First flight November 2024. Rick totally forgot. Well, in that case, send me a tikkie. You have my number. Little bug. KLM flight 1352 arriving from Prague next in Embraer 175. There it is. And in the meantime, I see that the Aurora Sky Lounge just welcomed a new member, and that is Henry Panovis. Henry, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, mate. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Thank you for choosing the AMS Live Aurora Sky Lounge as your place to hang out in. 32 custom emojis at your disposal. Use them however you see fit. Don't forget to use them. They're there for a reason, to be used and abused. So, calling all members to use and abuse the custom emojis as much as you can. And also a big thank you and congratulations to Marja. Marja, our moderator, is celebrating 19 months of membership. 19 months already. 19, just as my age. Hey Marja, thank you so much for your continued support and everything you've been doing as a moderator ever since you became one as well. Hope that everything is still to your liking. Let me know if something is no longer to your liking, either the modding or the membership. Thank you so much for everything you have done to support the channel already. And I hope you're going to stick around for many more months to come. If not as a mod or as a member, then at least as a regular frequent visitor. Thank you so much, Marja. Let's see. More people in the chat. Roy, goedemorgen. De Sparta Rotterdam, goedemorgen. Juan Carlos, buenos dias. Nicolas, Calimera, Sebastian V, good morning. 3 Queens and a long distance Emirates A380 is what is in store. Maybe the A380 will make up a few more minutes and maybe, just maybe, it'll land here. But for now, with an ETA of 103, the Emirates A380 looks to go to what is probably going to be the center runway and secondary runway for arrivals later today. Right now, this is Paban, 18 right, only runway open for arrivals. And not before 11 o'clock will a secondary runway open for inbound traffic. The first queen of the show has entered Dutch airspace. He's arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. Cargo Lux, if I recall correctly. First Delta of the show, A330, flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Hadi Henk, goedemorgen. Per, goedemorgen, good morning. John K, good evening. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Delta Airlines flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. That's an A330-300. Bird is chilling on the pipes. This is Delta Airlines flight 74. 8 hours and 14 minutes on the way now. November 811. November Whiskey is the registration. The airplane is 19 years old. First flight was in July 2005. Rick says KLM City Hopper should serve a burger on their flight and call it the KLM City Whopper. I'm not sure if that would be copyright infringement, since it looks so much like the name of the burger specialty from that other fast food chain. But yeah, it would be nice if they did, wouldn't it? On the flight to Brussels, you'll have just enough time to open the wrapping, take a first bite after they've taken your order. Roy, goedemorgen. Al-Mustafa, good morning. And Rick Brown is tuning in from the Caribbean, Aruba. Good early morning to you then. Over 80, guten Morgen, herzlich willkommen. After Delta Airlines Flight 74 has landed, the next airplane shall be BA City Flyer arriving from London City, an Embraer 190. Hey, Georgio is also back in the chat. Good morning. Good to have you again, mate. Hope all is well. So over here at Schiphol, it is a sunny, warm day. Hardly any wind. But wind is now blowing from the east to southeast. That's the first airplane actually using their reversers quite extensively. Rather interesting with weather like today. You'd think on a day like today they'd all rolled out and just use the runway length and the friction to slow down. It's also not like they're vacating relatively early and that they had to make room or something. Interesting, interesting. Bird control is coming this way, and so too from the other side is BA flight 8451 arriving from London City, an Embraer 190. There it is, and it looks like we are going to see a couple of narrow bodies for the time being. Oh, and the Sparta Rotterdam is flying to Hurghada with Corendon on Monday. Hope you have a great vacation, mate. There is a 777-300 arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa, that is flying to the north over the coastline. I'm looking if I can see something already. Should be approaching. But yeah, you really need to know where you need to look. I think I might have it. It's a bit hazy. I think it's right in the vicinity of those electricity masts. Yeah, there it is. So KLM flight 592 flying to the northeast over the Gulf of Yorkshire, having arrived or arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa. And here we have BA City Flyer flight 8451 arriving from London City. Flight time 39 minutes. It is an Embraer 190 short range, and that seems appropriate since the distance traveled on this flight thus far has been 180 nautical miles. 15-year-old airplane, hailing from the year 2010, month not specified. Hadi Christel, goedemorgen. Louis, good morning. John Norris is also back. Good evening, mate. Erik, goedemorgen. NJ, goedemorgen. Pieter, goedemorgen. Now, the first officer doesn't want us to look into the cockpit. Or have they... No. I was about to say, have they put a message behind their sunscreen? I'm still calling first officers to do that. Something to the likes of, hey, AMS Live, greetings from the cockpit or something. Whatever you want would be nice. They're probably never going to do that, but you never know. Right, KLM Embraer 190, flight 980, also arriving from London City. So these two airplanes are flying behind one another. The second airplane that you're now seeing is Lufthansa flight 988 arriving from Frankfurt. That's an A320. Another Embraer 190 behind it. Now they're still flying base. Can we see it already? On paper, I think we ought to be able to see the third airplane approaching, but you really need to know where you need to look, because as you guys could see with the long distance shot of the 777, it is a bit hazy, and that makes long distance visibility not optimal. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely not the best it can be. Still, There are some contrails visible here and there. You can see 3 right now. I can also hear something with a propeller that is passing overhead. I often hear them, but since they fly on such a low level that they're not producing a contrail, it is nearly impossible for me to see them, let alone point my camera to them. So let's point my camera to things I can see a little better. Starting with this KLM flight 980 arriving from London City and Embraer 190, flight time 37 minutes. Again, 180 nautical miles. What a surprise. 9-year-old airplane, first flight December 2015. Knut, guten Morgen. And welcome back. Dukman, good morning. Rick has to leave after the 747 Cargolux has landed. That's a pity. Stupid work. Should be forbidden. KLM 737-700 Billund. Yeah, to Billund, passing overhead. You might pick it up on the mic. But the camera is picking up a Lufthansa flight 988 arriving from Frankfurt. 44 minutes on the way, 202 nautical miles. So Frankfurt, as the crow flies, is further away from Amsterdam than London City is, if only by a few miles. 12-year-old airplane, first flight March 2013. Howdy Gerrit, goedemorgen. I'm not sure, Jeffrey, if those big pipes are are these that Hank was referring to. Maybe Hank was talking about this, and it's continuing over here. These are temporary sewage pipes, since they are replacing the sewage. So excrements and whatnot. Mark also back in the chat. Good to see you, Mark. Sahil plays. Good morning. Hey there, Donna. Good morning. 2 airplanes on the glide slope. KLM flight 1930 in the foreground. That's an Embraer 190 arriving from Geneva, and behind it is the 777-300 KLM flight 592 arriving from Johannesburg. Windmill is still spinning slowly. The wind doesn't seem to have picked up significantly. Right now there is a slight breeze. Any breeze will help to stay a bit cool. The sun is shining abundantly, and with the exception of the sun and a few contrails in airplanes, there are no clouds in the sky. Nothing to take to find cover behind. Another Air Baltic A220 passing overhead. And this is KLM flight 1930 arriving from Geneva. Now next up KLM flight 592. That's the 777-300 It's arriving from Johannesburg, and that's in South Africa. 10 hours and 47 minutes underway. The PHBVD, this used to be Marissa's beloved SkyTeam livery 777-300 A couple of months ago it got repainted back into the standard livery of KLM. The airplane is 15 years old. The first flight was in August 2009. And after that, at it's 10 o'clock, you can see the lights glistening. That's Tarom flight 361 arriving from Bucharest. That's the 737-800. And Jan Jans also has to leave, unfortunately. The Playmaster YouTube asks, what focal length do you use? I don't use focal length. I use a camcorder and it comes with variable focal length lens. Sahil also has to go. Thanks for stopping by, Sahil. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tarom arriving from Bucharest, flight 361. Next to arrive. In the meantime, good morning to Alan. Alan Lee coming in with a super chat. He says, good morning from the northeast of England. Good morning to you too, Alan. Hope all is well over there. Over here, warm and sunny weather, as you can see. Well, you cannot feel it, but you can definitely see it is sunny. Hope that also is the case for you guys in the northeast of England. I think a lot of Europe is now basking under high pressure and has a lot of sunshine, though not everywhere. Thank you so much for your good morning super chat there, Alan. And also a good morning to all others who have joined. Alvada, guten morgen. Peter, goedemorgen. Anka, good morning. Milan, goedemorgen. And the camcorder is a Canon XA60. Also, a warm welcome to Luller Pilot, who just now once again became a member of our Aurora Sky Lounge. We kept your seat warm. Welcome back, Luller Pilot. Thanks for renewing your membership. Don't forget to use those custom emojis, guys. That goes for all members, new, old, gifted or non-gifted, that doesn't matter. 32 custom emojis. There's also, if you are a member, 6 polls in the member section that you can still cast your vote for. What will be the 32nd new custom emoji? You guys gave 24 suggestions, and unfortunately all free polling websites that I found only allowed for 25 responses, and that's not enough for our membership. So I had to use the polling capability of YouTube, and that means only 4 options per poll. So that means 6 options, 6 polls with each 4 options. Pick your favorite in each of the polls, and then the 6 winners will go head to head in the second round, and the 2 winners from the 2 3-item polls will then go head to head to determine which will become the 32nd new custom emoji. We have a Bombardier C-Series 300 from Air France arriving from Paris, flight 1444. 47 minutes on the way, brand new airplane, first flight August 2024. And good morning to all viewers who have joined. Milan, good morning. Peter, good morning. Geo Rid, good morning. Planeboy, good morning. And Lola Pilot is planning to drive to Amsterdam on Saturday for plane spotting again after many years. Yeah, well, the weather, unless the showers, the occasional showers that were predicted to maybe happen in the weekend happen to take place at Schiphol during the hours I am planning to stream. Otherwise, I should be out. So, big chance that I will be out streaming. I don't know yet where I'm going to go to. Things will depend on runway use, which depends on the wind. I think this is the only runway, the only day we are going to see arrivals on the Paban. I think in the next few days, and for some time to come, we're back to wind from the north. That means Paban departures. It also depends on what comes in and goes out. If possible, I like to film the arrival of as many quad squad members as possible. So if all is well, I should be out streaming on Saturday, Lunar Pilot. I don't know yet where I'm going to go to. But on paper, normally speaking, I should be out. So if you're in the vicinity, do come over and say hi. You'll recognize me quite easily. I'm the guy with the most elaborate setup out here. Utility cart, camping table, and often during the weekends crowd around him as well. There's a hare. Let's call him Chicago. It's Chicago O'Hare. So Chicago is sitting in the field. In the meantime, KM Malta is landing, arriving from Malta. Flight 394. Hey, Jane is also back in the chat. Privet, good to see you again. Hope you've been well. Klaas, good morning. Chris, goedemorgen. Seal de Deal, goedemorgen. Oliver, good morning. Next up, Air Canada Flight 808 at 777-300 arriving from Toronto. And the airplane that you see behind it is the first of our 3 queens today. Cargo Lux arriving from Nairobi in Kenya. I'm not sure if it is a debut. I think we have seen hares before, but we don't see them very regularly, that's true. Housing Indonesia, good morning. Suzanne, good morning. Or good evening to you, tuning in from New South Wales. More viewers from down under. Frank, good morning. Dans, goedemorgen. Carlton, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. Air Canada arriving from Toronto in Canada. 6 hours and 39 minutes it has flown to get here. First of 3 747s in today's show, ladies and gentlemen. Here she comes, Cargo Lux flight 2613, number 8 on flight radar, tracked by 461 people. 8 hours and 30 minutes underway, arriving from Nairobi in Kenya. You all know in which continent Kenya lies, right? The airplane is 21 years old. First flight was in April 2004. It is the LXUCV, Uniform Charlie Victor. 747-400 freighter. What a beautiful machine. And hey there, Brian, also back in the chat. Mario Brides, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. 2 more 747s expected before 1:15 p.m. If you don't have to be anywhere, stick around. The A380 might also come here, although its ETA is still hovering around 1 p.m. Let's check in after this landing. Spool up those reversers, please. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. Her Majesty the Queen vacating the runway More wide bodies coming after this, and 2 more Queens are expected. Atlas Air is approaching. Its ETA is now 12:33. Arriving from the west from Miami, Florida means it's going to land on this runway regardless, unless they are going to change the runway use, which I don't expect they will, not at least in the morning hours and early afternoon. Second and third in total, Queen is arriving from Miami as well. Its ETA is 1:04 p.m. And flying over Bulgarian airspace now with still an ETA of 1:03 is Emirates Flight 147. So whether or not we are going to see it remains to be seen. This is the meter I have in the ticker. A refresh will tell us that the temperature has climbed to 22 degrees and the wind has become more southerly. Now south-southeast and is 4 knots. It is still CAV-OK. Not much has changed in that respect except the temperature, and the wind has become a bit more southerly. Now, I'm going to quickly turn around the camera and focus on the next airplane landing. And after that, I'm going to quickly paste the meter that I just now copied into the ticker. But there's not enough time to do everything in between. This is KLM Flight 636, 777-200 arriving from Las Vegas. 9 hours and 28 minutes on the way. The registration is the PHBQN, that's Bravo, Quebec, November. 19-year-old airplane, first flight, April 2006. Click, click, click. Paste the meter in the ticker, and there we go. Let's quickly turn back. KLM Flight 598 is now coming in. KLM Flight 598, 777-300 after that, Air Arabia Morocco. First up, KLM Flight 598, arriving from Cape Town, and that's in South 777-300 11 hours and 7 minutes on the way. It is the PHBVF, that's Bravo Victor Foxtrot. 14-year-old airplane, first flight January 2011. And a very good morning to all who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing here at Paban, runway 18 right now the only runway in use for arrivals. Just now, the first of 3 Queens in total that will land in this stream has landed. 2 more 747s are underway, arriving from Miami, Florida. The A380 is also expected. Right now, it is still expected to go to the wrong runway, but you never know if it's going to make up a few more minutes. Martien, goedemorgen. Ryan, good morning. Mark, good morning. AR Gaming, good morning. Juan Carlos, good morning. Navy Jack, good morning, mate. AR Gaming asks if they fixed the solar panels at the Paban. The birds shed on them, so now they are not as reflective anymore. That's the solution. Now, if all is well with the day lengthening, we can see airplane number 3 turning in, question mark, or have they already begun with traffic to the central runway? It looks like the latter is the case. What? They're going early. KLM Flight 1788 arriving from Düsseldorf seems to be the first to go to the wrong runway. That's interesting. Okay, interesting. KLM Embraer 90 Flight 1798 arriving from Düsseldorf, already on the glide slope to the center runway. It is only 10:44 still, so a bit surprised that they're already opening up the center runway so early. This is Air Arabia Morocco. There it is. Airplane going to the wrong runway. It is only 10:44. They're already opening up the center runway. Parallel arrivals already beginning. It usually begins around 11 and then lasts until 11:40. So I hope that them starting early with parallel arrivals also means they're going to end a bit earlier. This is ITA Airways Flight 120 arriving from Milan on Bombardier C-Series 100. Flight time 1 hour and 31 minutes. It's a brand new airplane. Registration is EIMVE. That's Mike Victor Echo. First flight November 2024. And good morning to all who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing at the Paban. Only runway for arrivals until just now. Parallel arrivals now in progress. Center runway also in use. Wind is blowing from the south-southeast. Handful of knots. We're under high pressure in Central Europe, Western Europe, whatever you would like to call this part of the world. Over here the sun is shining and there are little to no clouds. Anything cloud-like are occasional contrails. 747 already landed, 2 more are inbound and expected to land on this runway. Beautiful machine, beautiful livery. ITA Airways, and the first airplane to the center runway flying in the background. KLM Flight 1798 arriving from Düsseldorf. Dion, goedemorgen. And nee, don't know it yet. Probably not. I'm not counting on the Paban being open. Last time there was a NATO top. They closed it and they parked the airplanes of the dignitaries on the runway, so I'm not expecting the Paban to be open for the NATO top, the upcoming NATO top. Now there's also a runway out of commission because of maintenance, the Buitenvelderbaan, runway 0927. This looks like BA. If I had to guess. EasyJet in the meantime landing here. And interestingly behind it is KLM Flight 741 arriving from Cartagena. Normally speaking that would be a runway, an airplane that would land on this runway. A 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena, which lies to the west of the Netherlands. So I'm wondering what is up. And the Lufti that we saw earlier, or is that, no, it's not Lufti, is it? Lufti doesn't have anything on the bottom of their airplanes. What was it? Interesting. In the meantime, we have the second ITA A321neo going to the center runway. After that, KLM Flight 1002 arriving from London Heathrow. That's the airplane we're now filming. That's an A321neo. So parallel arrivals have begun rather early today. This is ETA flight 108, arriving from Rome, A321neo. Another A321neo underway to the Paban right now. KLM arriving from London Heathrow. Flight time for this airplane, 2 hours and a minute. The EIHXA. Airplane a year old, first flight October 2023. Ah, Discover A330, thanks Dans. So yeah, people in the chat are saying that the Paban is going to be used as parking for the airplanes during the NATO top. They're probably going to restrict the access to the Paban. That would be my guess. Have military police stand at the crossings leading to the parking, closing off the cycling paths. NATO top is 24th until the 26th of June, Dans. Hadi Liewe, goedemorgen kerel. Good to see you again, mate. Aviation Dallas, good morning. Aviation Dallas says or asks, will we see Qantas here in the future from Melbourne and Perth? I have no idea, mate. If I recall correctly, they did used to fly to Schiphol back a couple of decades ago. Whether or not they are going to resume doing that, I don't know. Thought KLM also flew to Australia back in the day, but that's all years ago. In the meantime, the G is arriving from Athens. A G in the air. On its way to center. In the meantime, over here we are going to see an EasyJet A319 arriving from Persenchester. Parallel to it, to the center runway, is Transavia arriving from Ljubljana in Slovenia. Police is also patrolling here on the cycling path. And over there we have EasyJet flight 27850 arriving from Persenchester. That's an A319. $15 minutes the flight time. Austrian registered OELVG, that's a Lima Victor Golf. 19-year-old airplane, first flight March 2006. Hey Rudolf, goedemorgen.
Waar is je bovendekking? Waar is je schaduw?
Ja, goede vraag, geen idee. Kom jij even een parasol brengen?
Deze zie je toch wel met een parasol erbij.
Ja, inderdaad. Ja, ik niet. Ik smeer gewoon goed en ik heb een pet. Moet ik het mee doen? Alles goed?
Ja, prima.
Mooi? Druk?
Lekker druk.
Heb je lange dienst?
Nee.
Oh. Hearing splashes here. Somebody jumped into the water as Officer Rudolph stepped out of his vehicle, or it was fish. The fish are also busy again. It's spring. You know what's up then with the fish. So over here we have EasyJet and A319 arriving from Persenchester. And after that we are going to see Air Arabia Morocco arriving from Nador. Flying parallel to this airplane to the center runway is KLM flight 1828 to Stuttgart, from Stuttgart I should say. I wonder how long they're going to do the parallel arrival since they began earlier. They already started opening the center runway a 11:15. That's 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Normally parallel arrivals last until approximately 11:40. So if they are going to do the same duration, you'd think they would stop around 5 minutes to half, 25 minutes past the hour. Vandaag alleen op pad.
Ja, oh ja, de auto. Ja.
Ja. Normaal zien jullie vaak met z'n tweeën.
Ja, nee, ik moest met de ooit maar goed worden.
Ah, oké. Niet te druk op de weg volgens mij, of wel?
Nooit last van die auto.
Gewoon de sirene aan en opzij. Ah, alleen met een goede reden zeker. Mag waarschijnlijk niet zomaar. Over here we have the new livery of German Airways. Lots of dots. German Airways flying on behalf of KLM, flight 1828, arriving from Stuttgart. 58 minutes on the way. 19-year-old airplane, first flight somewhere in 2006, month not specified. In the meantime, Michael, good morning. Luna, good morning. Teun, good morning. Peter PDK, good morning. Brandon, good morning. Corin, good morning. And Brandon says the cop just randomly chilling here is top tier. Hey, he's not just randomly chilling. He is one of our first members and also one of the first subscribers to the channel, mate. He is subscriber number 2 and member number 2. So, long friend of the show. Long standing, I should say. Lipstick airplane underway. No grumpy tail on the livery. And over here we have Air Arabia Morocco coming in from Nador. Nador in Morocco, and that's in the north of 737-800. Flight time 2 hours and 35 minutes. The airplane is 20 years old, first flight July 2004. Using their reversers, the LY do. Now I'm happy to say that the next airplane is again a Delta Widebody, Delta Airlines Flight 162, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's an A330neo coming in. You can already see another airplane behind it. That would be Iberia Express arriving from Madrid. In the meantime, Cor, goeiedag. Jolande, goedemorgen. Peter Last, good morning. Onno, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. So this is Delta Airlines Flight 162, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. A330neo, 7 hours and 38 minutes on the way. Registration is the November 421 Delta X-Ray. The airplane is 2 years old, first flight February 2023. Transavia 737 arriving from Verona, flying parallel to it. A little bit ahead of it, so not going to be able to make a combo shot of them. Dirk, goedemorgen. Brandon, good morning. Michael, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. Right, next up Iberia Express arriving from Madrid. That's an A320, flight 1791. 1 hour and 56 minutes on the way. For those of you joining us later, welcome to the show. You might have missed the landing of a 747 already. There are 2 more underway. Have a look with me on Flight Radar. As you can see, it is Cavoquet, beautiful weather, no sunshine, no clouds, I should say, and an abundance of sunshine. Atlas Air is arriving 12:35. Cargolux is arriving 1:09. The Emirates A380 now once again a bit later, ETA 1:07. and the Orange Pride is going to Johannesburg, South Africa. That is undoubtedly taxiing to a runway 18 left. Unfortunately, it is the furthest runway from this location. Means it is very difficult to see anything taking off from over here. We should be able to see a contour, but you shouldn't expect any details. This is Iberia Express, landing here after having flown nearly 2 hours, 1 hour and 58 minutes. The ECMUF 17-year-old airplane, first flight October 2007. Also a massive big thank you to Liwe, who, oh yeah, I was blue, is celebrating 24 months of membership. Mate, thank you so much for your continued support. 24 months as a member and almost as long as a moderator. Thank you so much for all the support all throughout those months and already being a frequent visitor of the channel before you even became a member or a moderator. Hope you still like being both. Do let me know if something is no longer to your liking. You know how to reach me. Thank you, Liwe, for all the support and all the banter. Always a pleasure to have you in the stream. No, you don't always have time, but I'm always happy to see you when you do have time to be in the chat. Thank you, and upwards and onwards. Now, this is KLM flight 1918, arriving from Zurich. 737-800, 1 hour and 9 minutes the flight time. The PH BGB Bravo Golf Bravo, 17 years old, first flight April 2008. And ladies and gentlemen, members, it is now time to dust off your red emoji and make the chat bleed. Here it is. It is play flight 460 A320neo, arriving from Reykjavik in Iceland. 2 hours and 38 minutes on the way. There you go, Thibaut, showing how it's done. 2-year-old airplane, first flight October 2022, the TFPPE. Papa Echo. And I know you have been blue for 3 weeks or so, Liwe. I saw it before. I kept track of when the first members were going to turn blue. I think at the moment there are still 8 members in total now being blue. More than 2 years a member already. Incredible. I never thought we were going to reach it. Obviously I hoped for it but never expected it. So I am not seeing any airplanes right after play. That's interesting. Traffic to the center runway is continuing. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. There are 2 airplanes arriving from Boston and from San Francisco respectively. JetBlue and United. Hoorde vandaag in de chat dat ze de Paban met de NAVO-top dichtgooien als parkeerplaats?
Ja.
Gaat het überhaupt nog mogelijk worden om hier in de buurt te geraken? Mochten mensen dat willen? Dat werd al gevraagd in de chat. Waarschijnlijk dat de Kmart de boel hier bij de kruispunten of zo afzet of zo. Ja. Officer Rudolph is nodding to confirm that, unfortunately. Weet je of dat de spottersplaats bij de McDonald's nog bereikbaar gaat zijn bij de buitenvelderbaan? Die is natuurlijk wel, geloof ik, in onderhoud op dat moment.
Blijft die wel bereikbaar.
Die blijft waarschijnlijk wel bereikbaar, oké. Officer Rudolph is not completely sure, but he thought that the spottersplaats at the McDonald's is going to stay open for, or at least accessible for people during the NATO top. The polderbaan very likely already closed. The entrance roads leading to the polderbaan will probably be closed off and guarded by the KMAR. It will be interesting if the polderbaan is out of commission during the top and they're also maintaining runway 0927 at that time. Means that there are only going to be 3 runways open. De Zwanenburgbaan center, Alsmeerbaan, that's 18 left, 36 right, and Kaagbaan, runway 0624. Somebody is also asking about the Kaagbaan. Do you know if they are going to stand at the beach avenue and also prohibit people from going to that field of grass?
Ik weet het niet.
Nee, dat is nog niet bekendgemaakt. Oké. Still unknown. Will the authorities brief you guys when they do take those measures? Okay, so it hasn't been decided yet. Otherwise, Officer Rudolph would have also been informed and could tell me with certainty. Hey, Roy is in the chat. I think Roy is our latest blue member. 2 years a member. Good to have you, Roy. Hope all is well. So yeah, JetBlue flight 631 in the distance, arriving from Boston. A321neo. Next to arrive, and we are going to see a 777-300ER coming in the field of view at some point from the left. That should be United flight 968 arriving from San Francisco. And I kind of sort of already stole your thunder because I knew from the list of my members that Roy was going to be the next. So when I saw him in the chat and I saw a blue badge next to him, I already called it out before he even had a chance to highlight and celebrate. Sorry about that, Roy. I'm just enthusiastic about more members turning blue. Roy Oerlemans also celebrating 2 years of membership, 2 years in the pocket. Another blue member. I think you're now the 9th member that is blue, and standing next to me is the second member who turned blue, Officer Rudolph. yeah. Long-standing friend of the show. And Roy, thank you so much for the continued support. Always nice to have you in the chat. Hope you're going to stay around for many more months to come. If not as a long-standing member, then at least as a regular frequent visitor. If anything is lacking in the lounge, let me know and I will do my utmost best to improve it. If anything is needed, I'll put it on the groceries list and see what I can do. Roy, thank you so much for your continued support. And congratulations, another member has turned blue. Reina is tuning in from Texas. Good morning. Texas, good morning. Rino Ponta, good morning. Peter Alding, good morning, mate. Celebrating 10 months of membership. I'm on the way to 2 years of membership. Absolutely, you are. That's 10/24th. So how many percent are that? That's nearly 50% along the way. You'll turn green first, which is something that Greenpeace is going to celebrate and be very happy about. Compensate a little bit for Officer Rudolph, who has his patrol car running idle and hasn't switched off his car. It's too expensive to start it again. Okay, there you go. We have 2 airplanes visible, JetBlue on the left, on the right, and we have United on the left. 777-300ER. Hey, goede dienst man. Tot de volgende. Fijne dag.
Je moet even goed Schiphol in de gaten houden. Een paar paardjes na.
Schiphol zelf, Schiphol.nl. Okay, Schiphol is going to publish on their own website
Van de gemeente Haarlemmermeer.
and the Council of Haarlemmermeer. Top, dankjewel man. Goeie dienst. JetBlue is approaching in the wannabe ITA livery. Flight 631, A321neo, 6 hours and 32 minutes on the way. November 4083 Juliet, brand new airplane. First flight May 2024. Right, Officer Rudolph underway again. Michael tuning in from Zurich, good morning. And welcome to the show everybody else. Welcome to the show, you're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, this is JetBlue, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts. In a shade of blue that is very much like the ITAs. So if you want to be informed about the upcoming measures around Schiphol Airport with regards to the NATO top, before leaving, Officer Rudolph said to check out the websites of Schiphol Group themselves and also the municipality of Haarlemmermeer. That's the municipality that Schiphol is located in. This is United flight 968. It is a 777-300ER arriving from San Francisco, 9 hours and 56 minutes on the way. Registration is the November 2645 uniform. 7-year-old airplane, first flight March 2018. And right now parallel arrivals are still in progress. It is 11 past 11. And normally speaking, parallel arrivals take place from 11 until 11:40, but today they began early. Already a quarter to 11, the first airplanes to the center runway were approaching. So I'm hoping that since they began earlier, they're also going to stop earlier. Resume to Paban being the only runway for inbound traffic as normal. Indeed, Maria. Members, please remember to vote for the new emoji. There are 6 polls in the members community section. We are well under 1400 members again, but we did cross the 1400 member mark briefly, and I immediately secured the emoji slot that became available. The 30-second emoji has been released, and I have a placeholder, a temporary placeholder in place so that it doesn't disappear again when we would go under the 1400 mark. That means another emoji to be filled. You guys have given no less than 24 suggestions, which I have divided over 6 polls. There are 6 polls where you can have 4 options. Pick your favorite in each of them. I will create 2 new polls at the end of the week. The current polls run until, oh no, it was the beginning of this week. So I think until Tuesday next week. Then I will pick the winners and let them compete head to head in 2 3-item polls. And the winners of these 2 polls will go head to head and will determine the eventual 30-second custom emoji. Don't forget to use those custom emojis that you guys have access to if you are a member. And if you are enjoying the stream and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps to promote the channel's content to new viewers who haven't heard of the channel yet. It also allows you to stay informed of upcoming live streams and other things concerning the channel, such as messages about custom emojis, for instance. KLM flight 696 has arrived. It's the FWOF. And it's exactly nothing. The landing is not loud. There's no wheelie. It's a waste of potential. Two airplanes visible in the distance. KLM flight 1042 arriving from Birmingham. That is a KLM 737-900. We have a KLM 737-800 behind it, arriving from Glasgow. An Embraer 175 arriving from Chester behind it. Embraer 190 will be behind it. And the 737 will be behind it. What? Narrowbodies for the time being. Narrowbodies galore. Now, the silver lining is that we are not missing wide bodies going to the center runway, because the center runway is also receiving one after the other narrow bodies. Little bit of wind. You can see the windmill in the background spinning slowly. This is KLM flight 1042. And a bug landed on my nose. Now it is gone. Bugger off. 737-900, 43 minutes underway, PHB XP, 23 years old, first flight August 2001. Meanwhile, big picture, looking to the south, things look like so. Looking to the west, things look like so. Looking to the east, things look like so. Looking to the north, things look like so. Very monotonous, blue sky, little to no clouds, grass is green, the wind is blowing mildly. This is KLM flight 936 arriving from Glasgow. 1 hour and 4 minutes on the way, 737-800. The PHBCL, that's Bravo Charlie Lima. 5-year-old airplane, first flight December 2019. W says that the Nippon Cargo 747 will depart soon from runway 24. Where is it going to go to? Just curious about the departure it's going to make, the standard instrument departure. Good morning, Gravely Lewis, who is tuning in from Quebec City. Milan. Thanks, Maria. Okay, so that's not coming this way then. It'll probably make a left-hand turn and continue flying to the south. If you guys could give me a heads up when the Nippon 747 is lined up and first to go. Or when it is going to line up and will be the first to go. Have to take into consideration there's always a little bit of lag between the chat and the stream, and things happening in real life and things that you can see on flight radar. Tractors. No, excavator. So yeah, in the field over here and there an occasional yellow flower. Not sure if they are the first and that the entire field is going to become yellow in the upcoming weeks, or if these are just weeds in between the crop that is actually grown over there. Crowfest. Continuing. Parallel arrivals are 2. Thank you, Wolfie. So Nippon Cargo 747 lining up now on runway 24. Ah, yeah. Going to Milan. Where is it going to appear? Where is it going to emerge? That's the question. Now lined up. And seems to be spooling up and moving. If you're wondering what we're doing, we're waiting for Nippon Cargo Flight 49 to Milan to appear. That's a 7478. Now departing from runway 24. For some reason I think it's going to appear right off the tower. Yeah, there we go. So this is Nippon Cargo Flight 49, a 7478 to Milan. Registration Juliet Alpha 11 Kilo Zulu. Already 15 years old, first flight March 2010. Might still be able to catch a glimpse of it there, yeah. And it's gone. In the meantime, a KLM Embraer 0190 over here, having landed. While I'm scrolling back to the north on Flight Radar to see the incoming traffic to the Paban. KLM Flight 1070 having arrived from Southampton. Next up will be KLM Flight 1406 arriving from Paris. And this is a 737-800. 43 minutes on the way. The PHB-XV Bravo X-Ray Victor. 18 years old, first flight February 2007. Raina says, I want to visit Amsterdam again and see you in person. Aim is live. I've been to Amsterdam before, but it was a short time because I had board another plane en route to Greece. Well, you're welcome to drop by whenever you are in the vicinity. Would be nice to meet in person. But yeah, a lot of transit traffic at Schiphol as well. Oh. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to leave the airport when transitioning. Transiting. Not transitioning, transiting. English is failing, I need more vodka. Air Baltic is coming in for Austrian, or at least I see Austrian to the center runway with a Bombardier C-Series. Last time we saw that, it was Air Baltic. Just like how whenever we see an Embraer 170 for KLM, we know it's a Britty hopper. This is KLM Flight 982. And that's an Embraer 190 arriving from London City. And the Austrian A330 is flying parallel to it, a little bit behind it. It is now 11:23 and roughly 40 minutes ago the center runway opened for arrivals. Usually the parallel arrival stint, or at least the stint where two runways for arrivals are open, lasts approximately 40 minutes. Normally it would have been from 11 AM until 11:40, I'm hoping that since they began 10:45, they might also end after 40 minutes, and that would be around 11:25. So I'm looking on flight radar, zooming out a little bit to see how much traffic is still going to the center runway, or maybe if everything inbound will return to coming to the Paban exclusively on a short notice. In the meantime, this is German Airways flying on behalf of KLM. And we have Air Baltic flying on behalf of Austrian in the background. So this is Air Baltic, an Air Baltic airplane flying on behalf of Austrian, arriving from Vienna. Rob, goedemorgen. Jack, good morning. Theo, good morning. Avi, guten Morgen. So there's still traffic going to the central runway, but from what I can see, well, let's just ask, did anybody have a look and see if Air Oink Oink is coming this way or if it is going to the central runway? Just curious. Howdy Kevin, goedemorgen. So I'm curious, Air Oink Oink, Pegasus flight 1251, is it coming this way or is it going to the center runway? Because that will tell us if they are going to close center already or if they're maybe continuing until 11:40. I do see that Chris Coot has awoken and is also in the water now. There he is. And over here we have EasyJet flight 22515. Arriving from Celiac City, so look away if you're gluten intolerant, because otherwise you might get the cramps. Howdy Tom, goedemorgen. Nobody checked where Air Oink Oink is going to? Oink Oink to Polar. Thank you, Maria, for looking that up. So that means that they have begun early with parallel arrivals, but they also, luckily for us, have stopped 15 minutes earlier than normal. Chris Coot over here, having a nibble, having a swim. Taking good care of himself. Morning cardio. Fiber-rich diet. Fresh water. Hey there, Paul. Morning, mate. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. And welcome to all the others who have joined in the meantime. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy. We're standing here at the Paban where the sun is abundantly shining. We have a little bit of wind blowing from the south, more or less. Already one queen landed here. Cargo Lux arriving from Nairobi in Kenya. There are two more expected. One in an hour or so from now and the other one shortly after 1 p.m. Both arriving from Miami, Florida, and both expected to land here on the Paban. This is a Burriti hopper flying on behalf of KLM, flight 1056. And James asks if the Coot has clearance from ATC. They don't have to ask clearance, mate. They just go and do as they please. They'll even destroy nests if they feel like it. It is absolutely incredible. Right, so Orange Pride is flying out and the Queens are flying in, flying over Ireland right now with an ETA of 12:37 is Atlas Air, a 7478 arriving from Miami, and behind it is Cargo Lux with now an ETA of 1:19. Definitely going to stick around until they've all landed, and flying over Hungarian airspace with an ETA of 1:07, so that means it's going to the wrong runway as it stands. Emirates Flight 147, the A380 arriving from Dubai. Click. Yeah, there we go. I was about to click the screen in, screen away. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. So once again, Paban has become the only runway in use for inbound traffic. RDW, goedemorgen. Frank de Bruin, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, all others. Dirkie, goedemorgen. So we have two airplanes coming in. In the foreground we have KLM flight 1710 arriving from Luxembourg. That's number 190. Air Oink is flying behind it. That is Pegasus flight 1251 arriving from Istanbul, and that is an A321neo. After that we have Transavia coming in from Napoli, flight 6410. And another Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from Stavanger will be next after that. Narrow bodies for the time being. We haven't seen a lot of wide bodies yet. Particularly the Deltas have been in short supply today. Captain Wheelie also has been MIA for a while now. That's no reverse landing. They're not even arming it. So let's see, what is the next wide body coming in? Zooming out. Hey, TUI flight 777-200 Munich to Amsterdam, what's that? If you look between Brussels and Antwerp, there is a privilege style 777-200 arriving from Munich, flying on behalf of TUI, by the looks of it. I think that's the military police coming this way. Yeah, says so on the tin. Land cruisers, lovely machines. Air Oink is next to arrive, flight 1251. A321neo arriving from Istanbul. 3 hours and 5 minutes on the way, that's a nominal flight duration. The TCRBU, Romeo Bravo uniform. 2-year-old airplane, first flight August 2022. Tom Boss is also back, tuning in from Israel. Good to have you, mate. Hope all is well. Peter Robbermond, goedemiddag. Goedemorgen. Good morning. It is still morning. The warmth makes it feel as if it is afternoon already, but it is still the end of the morning. Last time I checked the METAR, it was 22 degrees C. Let's see what it has become. It's going to become very cool in the upcoming days. Might have to resort to wearing a jacket again and maybe even get the gloves out. Absolutely drastic lowering of the temperature in the upcoming days. So looking at the long-term weather forecast, it now says maybe there is a little bit of rain on Sunday. It says that tomorrow and Saturday it's going to be nice. Today is the warmest day. It's going to lower until 12 degrees on Sunday. with a bit of rain. Wind from the north most of the time, also for the next week. But as you can see, with the exception of a few droplets on Sunday and Monday, no precipitation of significance expected. A refresh of the METAR says that it has now become 24 degrees C and the wind is once again a bit more to the east, still south of east, which is why the runway use will not change. With the current temperature 24C, that is almost 80 F. And we are having a go around here. Interesting. Not exactly sure why that happened. On a day like today, the runway is clear. I can see that. So yeah. Apparently, the Transavia pilots were not happy that I was doing something else than filming them, and they said, screw it, we'll go around and we'll go land a second time. Hopefully Boy will pay attention then. Interesting, interesting, interesting. There you go. Vassar Darshane also back in the chat, good to see you. Sim versus reality, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody else who has joined in the meantime. Our next airplane is going to be German Airways, arriving from Stavanger, flying on behalf of KLM, flight 1174, an Embraer 190. 1 hour and 13 minutes underway. The Damwo, 17-year-old airplane, first flight somewhere in 2008. I think so too, Sim versus reality. They saw I wasn't paying attention, I was showing you guys something else, and they said, screw it, we'll just go around. He better pay attention the next time we'll land. Now in the meantime, that gives me a quick moment to go to the laptop once again and welcome Spotter Happy, our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Spotter Happy, thank you so much for returning to the Aurora Sky Lounge. We kept your seat warm. Welcome back, mate. You know where to find everything in the lounge, hopefully. If not, let me know and we'll happily show you around. Many members in the lounge as well. If we're running low on supplies, let me know and I'll put them on the groceries list. Welcome back and thank you so much for the vote of confidence. Right, yeah, so why did he go around? That's a good question. Was anybody listening in on ATC and has anybody heard anything that was said on the radio? In the meantime, over here we have an Embraer 175 arriving from Aalborg. This is KLM flight 1204. Flight time 1 hour and 4 minutes. The PHEXG, 9-year-old airplane, first flight March 2016. Mario also back in the chat, good morning and welcome back. A lot of the windmills hardly are spinning. We had a bit of a breeze, and even though the METAR still indicates there's a few knots of wind, it feels like it has calmed down a little bit. So Donald and Daisy are still in the water over there. You have to look carefully, but if you look closely you can see them both. There they are. In the meantime, I'm taking a quick sip of vodka. And let's quickly turn back the camera. Have a look at the Embraer 175 that is next to land here. KLM flight 1788 arriving from Hanover in Germany. 37 minutes on the way, now 38, 183 nautical miles it has journeyed. The PH EXP, that's Echo X-Ray Papa. Is this Captain Wheelie? No, I don't think so. Still a good try. Kudos. Chris Coot. Scooting. And suspiciously fast. Don't tell me you've destroyed any nests again. Bastard. So here and there are a few contrails that you can see. Don't see anything with quad engines coming my way, either from before me or behind me. Show off. Captain Wheelie. Captain Wheelie has bought a scooter and is driving along the Paban. This is KLM flight 1944 arriving from Basel in Switzerland. German Airways flying on behalf of KLM. 1 hour and 1 minute underway. The DAKJC Delta Alpha Kilo Juliet Charlie. 17 years old, first flight somewhere in 2008. Hey there Abby, who is tuning in from Peachtree City in Georgia. Oh, and I see that Chris has brought back a mate. Chris Coot, you can hear him here. He's saying like and subscribe if you haven't already. Wise words from Chris Coot. His mate landed a bit further to the right, to the south. All right, Transavia is coming. Attention! Yeah, got the camera locked in. Second attempt at landing. Transavia flight 6410 arriving from Naples in Italy. Napoli. 2 hours and 20 minutes on the way. 737-800. The PHHSC. That's Hotel Sierra Charlie. 15-year-old airplane, first flight April 2010. You might also hear some voices in the background. There are some people that are standing not too or sitting, in the case of one person, not standing or sitting down too far away from me. So the mic might pick up some voices. Those are some people that have chosen to stop here and are watching the airplanes not too far away from me. Ari Ohio gozaimasu, welcome back. There you go. So 0 issues. Oh, even using reversers. Interesting. You hardly ever see Transavia 737s use reversers on Polderbaan, particularly on a day like today. Interesting. Really interesting. Next up will be Herpa Derpa Derpa. KLM Flight 912, German Airways, Embraer 190 arriving from Aberdeen, 1 hour and 8 minutes on the way. Going viral with itchies and scratchies for 75 years now. 18-year-old airplane, first flight somewhere in 2007, month not specified, but I suspect it's probably going to be January. Is that, by the way, something that you guys are also struggling with when you see for those of you who have a silver subscription or higher, that you don't always see the month and only the year of the first flight in some cases? One of the examples where I see it with is Chucky, the DAPRI, of which I did see its month earlier, a year ago or something. I know it's January 2008 when it had its first flight. Now, whenever I look, I see just 2008. So I wonder if this is an individual problem or if it is a wider, quote-unquote, flight radar problem. I'm suspecting the latter. Next airplane will be an E2 Embraer 195, KLM Flight 1136, arriving from Dublin, Ireland. And in the meantime, good morning, Arjan. Arjan is coming in with a celebration. He is celebrating 19 months of membership and writes, good morning all. Arjan, good morning. Is it still morning? Yeah, 15 minutes of morning left. Congratulations on your 19 months of membership. Thank you so much for your vote of confidence and your continued support, Arjan. I hope you still like being a member. Do let me know if something is no longer to your liking or if we're running low on supplies. Don't forget to use those custom emojis, guys. If you're a member, new or old, doesn't matter. Also, don't forget to vote for the 6 polls of the new 30-second custom emoji. Arjan, dankjewel. Thank you so much for your continued support, my friend. And the year is mentioned for Mark as well, only the year. Right. Have the same thing here, so it's not an individual problem then. At least that's good to know. Chris, good. Next up will be KLM Flight 1076 arriving from Bristol. That's number 190. And we have a Dreamliner in the background, flying AMS Live logo. That is KLM Flight 604 arriving from LAX. That's a 787-10 Dreamliner. Right, it is 11:47 now, and within an hour and a half we are going to see 2 747s, which will both land on this runway if all goes well, and the Emirates A380, which probably is going to land on the center runway. KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Bristol, flight time 50 minutes, 14 years old, first flight August 2010.
Doen ze dat ook in Nederland? Mijn vader zegt, hij is gewoon op zijn vloot volgens mij in Woensdrecht volgens mij. Ik vind dat ze wel een paar moeten in zo'n kleuren betalen. Zoals hoort het erbij. Een van die
Let's have a look. For the first time in a while, we're back to a wide body. This is KLM flight 601, arriving from LAX, 9 hours and 36 minutes on the way. The PHBKI 787-10 Dreamliner, 4 years old, first flight August 2020. And we are going to see another Delta 2 airplanes after this. There's an Embraer 190 sandwiched in between the wide bodies, this one and the one after that. Michael DCA also back in the chat, good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. And welcome to the show, all others who might have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing here at the Paban. Summery weather, I dare say. I'm standing here for the first time in shorts and a t-shirt. Put on a royal amount of sunscreen before going out. Temperatures are now mid-20s or approximately 80 F. Whatever wind there is blowing from the south to east. And that means that they are landing here from north to south. Big picture overview. This is what it currently looks like to the south. This is what it looks like to the west. This is what it looks like to the east. And this is what it looks like to the north.
What is the same? Echo Charlie, Oscar, Juliet, and then...
So we have 2 airplanes visible right now. A third one should be approaching in the background from the left. Not sure if we are going to see it already. That's number 190. We have a 777-300 arriving from Panama City, and behind it is a 777-200 privilege style arriving from Munich on behalf of TUI. Hey Patricia, goedemorgen, good morning. Gertin, goedemorgen. Celine, good morning. Aviation now, good morning. Happy 1st of May to everybody. We have 2 airplanes coming in now. KLM flight 984 arriving from London City is the first airplane to arrive. Delta Airlines flight 164 and A330 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota is the next airplane after that. If you guys are enjoying the stream and you haven't already, consider leaving a like and subscribe if you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams. If you want to help promote the channel to new viewers who haven't heard of the channel yet, but who might also be interested in streams like these, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. That really helps, allegedly, to bring in new viewers. We have KLM flight 984, one of 2 airplanes remaining in KLM's fleet in the SkyTeam livery, the other being a 737-900. We saw the other airplane, the third airplane that used to be in the SkyTeam livery already in the stream, the PHBVD, but it got repainted back in the standard livery. This is KLM flight 984 having arrived from London City. Took 38 minutes to get here, 180 nautical miles. 13-year-old airplane. Let's quickly turn back. Time for Delta Airlines flight 164 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's an A330-300. Flight time 7 hours and 35 minutes. It's the November 815 November Whiskey. 18 years old, first flight January 2007. Liwa unfortunately has to go to do groceries. Thanks for stopping by, Liwa. Hope to see you again later in the weekend. Mohammed, good to see you again. Good morning. So for those of you joining us later, you might have missed the landing of one Queen already. Atlas, no cargo lux, having arrived from Miami. No, not from Miami, Nairobi, Kenya. 2 more airplanes, 2 more 747s are coming. Arriving from Miami, Florida. The first of which shouldn't be too far away anymore. Delta Airlines not disappointing today. At least they know how to use those thrust reversers. Also, Fasro Darshine is celebrating 5 months of membership. Cheers to a great channel and awesome community. Fasro Darshine, thank you so much for your kind words and for your continued support. Hope that everything is still to your liking in the lounge. And hit me up if something is no longer to your liking. Thank you so much, Fasro Darshine. Upwards and onwards. You're going to turn yellow pretty soon. Erik also back in the chat. Good to see you. Goedemiddag. Let's have a quick look and see on Flight Radar where the airplanes of interest now are at. Has been a bit buggy today, so I'm going to refresh the page so that we have a current positioning. And flying towards Manchester, a bit east of Manchester, with an ETA of 12:37 is the first of the 2 queens arriving from Miami, Florida. A 7478 Atlas Air, second queen of the show to land on Paban. And an ETA of 1:16 now for Cargo Lux arriving from Miami as well. Now, in the vicinity, just northwest of Vienna in Austria, is the Emirates A380 flight 147 with an ETA of 107. It unfortunately looks like today it is going to go to the wrong runway. Seeing is believing, we'll have to wait and see, but if it is going to go to the wrong runway, at least from here we can see it quite well. We're going to stick around until all have landed. Now, pretty soon, we'll see a 777-300 KLM arriving from Panama City, but before that, this Embraer 190 arriving from Newcastle, KLM flight 954. Right, 2 airplanes on the glide slope, 2 777s, it's a double triple shot, a double triple glide slope shot. We have KLM flight 758 coming in first, arriving from Panama City, 9 hours and 42 minutes underway. The PHB VV Bravo Victor Victor, 4-year-old airplane, first flight December 2020. Panama City. That's not too far away from Danny Rules needs to go. Thanks for stopping by, Danny. See you again later in the weekend, hopefully. Flap surfaces, as we're used to from KLM, squeaky clean. Think on a day like today you could fry an egg on one of them. Oh, excavator already in the vicinity. What are they doing? Are they dredging? That's interesting. So, guy is over there. He's shoveling what looks like in the water side. There's an excavator that is digging a hole. Interesting. Well, as long as they're not going to dig right next to me. Anyway, this is the now number 9 on Flight Radar, tracked by 430 people. Rookie numbers, we have more viewers than that. This is TUI flight something something. It's 090 Papa. That's the call sign, but it's a 777-200 privilege style, flying on behalf of TUI. Arriving from Munich. 1 hour and 14 minutes on the way. Spanish registered airplane ECOJL. That's Oscar Juliet Lima. 19-year-old airplane, first flight January 2006. Right, privilege stall. What's your stall?
beetje.
Privileged oil. Aria 3. Elizabeth asks, is it true that Schiphol houses a 747 at the airport for viewing? No, that's incorrect. They do have a Fokker, what was it, a Fokker 100 on the publicly accessible panorama rooftop terrace. You'll find that before the customs, so that's publicly accessible even if you travel to Schiphol not to take a flight. It is publicly accessible and you can go in it. There is a 747 next to Schiphol, but that is from Corendon. They have a hotel right next to the airport and they have an old KLM 747 that retired that day. It was back when they did it, it was on the news. They transported it during the night over the highway to the hotel, which is a stone's throw from Schiphol away. And initially I thought it was the plan that you could also sleep in it. I think now it has conference rooms that you can rent. So there is a 747 in Corendon livery, even though Corendon never flew the 747. It is right next to Schiphol Airport. I'm not sure if you can just go in and have a look. Probably not. So there is a 747 next to Schiphol Airport. But on Schiphol Airport itself, there's only a Fokker 100. It is on the publicly accessible panorama rooftop terrace. Here we have a Britty Hopper, Embraer 170, arriving from Teesside or Darlington. Flying on behalf of KLM, flight 964. Oh yeah, and indeed, stranger, the Aviodrome Airplane Museum in Lelystad also has a retired 747. Sigosar, good morning. Marcel, goedemorgen. John Dutch Canadian, good morning. Okay, excavator on the one side, tractor on the other. Here, always something to do, something agricultural. Next up is an EasyJet arriving from Lickety Split. This is an A320neo. 2 hours and 6 minutes underway. The OELSW. The airplane a year old, first flight February 2024.
Ik ga een boek kopen van hoe die letters worden gebruikt. Ik weet niet hoe ik het kopen.
Ah, Captain Wheelie is... he was passing by again at high speed, I might add. Ah. A group of scooter youth using the long straight to make wheelies with their scooters. Right, let's see, where are the wide bodies? Where are the wide bodies? TUI coming in next, right after an Embraer 175 has landed. Delta Airlines is now fourth to arrive, that's another A330 arriving from Detroit. Michael Jackson also back in the chat, good to see you mate. It is a lovely day here, temperatures in the mid-20s, C approaching 80 F. First stream, I went out this morning in just my shorts and t-shirt after having applied the royal amount of sunscreen, of course. New microphone hat, Snapback cap.
Weer op alfabet.
Even has a different color on the bottom of the cap. Really lovely. Kestrel also in the background, as you guys could see.
Ik weet niet waarom ze zitten hier.
The cat also back in the chat. Good to see ya. If I missed anybody who already has been in the chat for a while now, apologies. Good afternoon to you all. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and right now we are having arrivals at the Paban. Now the only runway in use for arrivals. Wind has been blowing from the south to east. Only a handful of knots. It has been KVK all throughout the day. It is the first summery day here. Temperatures in the mid-20s Celsius.
Maar de mooiste winglet die
Absolutely lovely weather. Luckily the breeze is picking up again, otherwise it would be a scorcher. This is a TUI Dreamliner flight 757 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao, 8 hours and 35 minutes on the way. The PHT-FM, the airplane is 10 years old, first flight March 2015.
het heet volgens mij ik weet het niet meer. Scimitar.
So I think the tractor that passed us by is now parked in the field over here. I'm not sure what it's going to do over there.
Dan gaat hij weer laag. Ik weet
It's going to make a left-hand turn. Are we going to see what it's going to do? Is it sowing? Is it
en dan de binnenkant.
plowing?
binnenkant daar is een inboord aileron. En dat is voor ladere snelheid. En dan hebben ze meer effect.
Nu op de trip zijn we.
The tractor is blue, so it is a boy. It's a manly tractor,
Het ziet er zo raar
a masculine tractor.
uit. De geluiden lijken
Pink tractors, of course, lady tractors.
ook nee.
Don't see them very often.
787.
Tractor game is very much a masculine game here in the Netherlands. A lot of blue tractors.
Ik heb er even Qatar Airways, maar ja.
What is this contraption? Is that so? It looks like it. At least I think that this is something that you could use to disperse seeds with, and this to hold seeds in. But maybe I'm completely wrong. Ah, artificial fertilizer, the cat says. Fertilizer, right. Well, there you go. So they're going to fertilize, apparently.
Goedemorgen.
Hi,
Ik volg je op YouTube. Dus,
leuk man.
ik,
Met wie heb ik het genoegen? Steve, goeiedag. Steve, who has been talking here with a young lad for a while now, just came over to say hi and introduce himself and say hi. A follower of the show. As we were pointing the camera more or less in their direction. Transavia just now landing, and after this we are going to see Delta Airlines flight 136 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. This is Delta Airlines flight 136 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. 7 hours and 21 minutes on the way. It is an A330-300. 17 years old. Registration is the November 819 November Whiskey. And I think we are seeing a Chinese triple outbound. Or is that the A3? No, that's a Chinese triple. Going back to China. Oh, and a contrail in the background. Interesting to see that. 17-year-old airplane. This first flight was in July 2007. Bill J also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Hans Worst, goedemiddag. And everybody is confirming it is for artificial fertilizer. The control just now passed by. That's a twin jet, probably on its way to the United States or Canada. Looks like Lufthansa. No, it's not Lufthansa. Why did I think it looked like Lufthansa? Or is this Lufthansa in the old livery? Is that a Dreamliner? It sure looks like it. The tractor is now rolling onto the field. But the fertilizer is not yet enabled. So they first need to find the proper site to start fertilizing, apparently. E2 Embraer 195 in the meantime, over here landing shortly. KLM flight 1004 arriving from London Heathrow. Super Zoom, indeed, Vasra Darshane, one of the 24 contenders to become the 32nd custom emoji. Members, if you haven't already, don't forget to go to the member community section and cast your vote. There are 6 polls open until Tuesday, each containing 4 of your suggestions for the new custom emoji that has become available. It'll be a 3-round competition. I've had a look. Tried to see if I could find a free poll maker website where I could use 24 entries. Now that was not the hard part, but I wasn't able to find any free websites where you also could have a few hundred entries, a few hundred responses. Most of them were limited to 25 respondents or responses. That's too few. United. Ah, could be. Could be. Anyway, another KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Barcelona is next. Embraer 190 arriving from Berlin. A330 arriving from Boner is coming pretty soon after that. A321 Neo from Transavia arriving from Bali is also coming this way. Aviation now says Embraer looks pregnant. The E2 Embraer particularly looks a bit pregnant, doesn't it? I think the same can be said for A330s. I always describe them as having a hang belly. And yeah, pregnant or something. So contrails are visible, they are visible only briefly. There is something coming this way from what is usually the direction of Frankfurt. Twin jet. And also something in the sky south of me, southwest. There hardly is any chimney smoke to ride home about. Interesting to see that it is apparently so warm that the water vapor, is it water vapor then? That it dissolves so rapidly. I think we have an answer to the question, is it smoke or is it water vapor? It might actually be water vapor that actually is really quickly dissolving. Ooh. My camera is getting a bit warm, I see. The screen is going dark. Interesting. So there isn't a lot of wind then. Let's see, this is an Embraer 190 arriving from Barcelona. 1 hour and 56 minutes underway. 15-year-old airplane, first flight October 2009. Tip I heard was to also, because I have an S24 Ultra, a tip I heard was also to get out the pen. Now, unfortunately, there are clamps of the phone holder that are in front of the hole where the pen is, so I don't think that it is going to help in my case. Let's see if maybe by focusing the phone a little bit or the camera a little bit in the direction of the sun, with now the sun, the phone screen not directly in the sunshine, if maybe it is brightening up again. Not yet. Now I agree, Jane, the scale of chimney water vapor doesn't sound that well. Absolutely. We'll just leave it at the scale of chimney smoke for the time being. We have a Transavia A321neo coming in next, arriving from Bari. It's a brand new airplane, first flight June 2024. Transavia flight 5820. 2 hours and 19 minutes on the way. I see the 747 that you are talking about, Bert. So this is an Atlas 747, quite clearly recognizable as such. Right, I've got some more clarity back to my screen. There you go. Only a little bit of shade is required for the S24 Ultra screen to brighten up again. KLM flight 767 arrival from Bonaire is next to arrive. It's an A330-300, 8 hours and 55 minutes on the way. It's the fuck off. And don't be angry now, this is not a cuss word or something, this is just the registration. The PHAKF Alpha Kilo Foxtrot fuck off is the registration of this airplane. 8 hours and 55 minutes on the way, arriving from Bonaire. 10 years it is old, first flight was in October 2014. Zigosar says you should buy a beach umbrella for the sun. That's not going to work because you need to ground it, you need to secure it. Today there's hardly any wind. Often there is much more wind. If you have anything with an umbrella shape, it'll catch wind and it'll blow away in no time. So you would have to use guy lines and whatnot. Makes it a very time consuming thing. My setup is already very elaborate and time consuming. It also is very heavy. It requires me to hire a second person because my utility cart is already filled to the brim with all the gear that I currently am carrying with me. Looked into it, considered it, and rejected the idea. Same for party tents and whatnot. My car also has very limited space. Jane says, the fuck off from Bonaire. If it was a fucker, it'll just complete the experience. It's a wannabe fucker. That's what it is. This is Transavia flight 5696 arriving from Samos. SMI. 737-800. 3 hours and 19 minutes on the way. The PHHXJ Hotel X-Ray Juliet. 8 years old. First flight April 2017. And CFM Leap is saying good morning from an equally sunny Somerset in the UK. Good morning. Do we have any more engine types in the chat or just the one? Taco, goedemiddag. Good afternoon, mate. Michael DCA, not sure if I already said hi. Welcome to the show, guys. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. 2 Queens are coming. 1 already landed. The 747 landed here. Hey, that's the A350 from Finnair. Finnair going back to bloody Helsinki, Finland.
Korte vlucht trouwens.
Standard livery today. It landed this morning when I arrived here, and it was still, the Paban was still being used for departures. They transitioned from departures to the north in the early hours and to arrivals from the north around 9:20. Finnair back to bloody Helsinki, Finland.
Finnair moet ook beginnen met special liveries maken.
Lee Churchill says, think you've got a C-17 heading your way over the top, just coming over me to the east coast of the UK. Well, keep me posted, guys. We should still be around by the time it is landing, or if it is when it is moving here, moving overland. Now at Schiphol there's always a lot to see, and over here we have another one. Very polished landing. Not Captain Wilski, but definitely a good attempt. What do the flap surfaces look like? Should have known. Polished. Pristine. Sander reports that Flight Radar is out, at least on his PC. Over here I still have a functioning app on my phone. Ah, and it's back. There you go. So, is the tractor now indeed actually distributing any fertilizer? If it is, it's hard for me to see. It's probably going for another lane.
Als ik kijk op Flight Radar, komt er aan die 5 en ik hou altijd stil. Want ik vind die geluid hoor. Nee.
Aviation now says Iceland Air 767 on finals. That's good news. Thought I read the other day that Iceland Air is going to retire the 767s within 4 years or so. So only a few more years that we can take in the Iceland Air 767s, although they already destroyed the beautiful old livery, made it the sterile new livery.
Vooral die Hepla Aurora livery.
Ja, gelukkig heb ik dat nooit gevoerd.
Oh, u heeft die gewoon hier.
Rafał, I think, is tuning in from Poland. Good to see you, mate.
Maar bestaan die nog?
Jane says I should pester a Polish friend for some plain puns and then rain them in the chat next time. You should. You definitely should. More than welcome.
Dan hebben ze de
Iceland Air
helemaal.
will be next after the Embraer 190 here in the foreground has landed. In the foreground we have KLM flight 1830. That's an Embraer 190 arriving from Stuttgart. And after that it is Iceland Air. Iceland Air flight 500, a 767 arriving from Reykjavik in Iceland. There are 2 747s expected here within the hour, ladies and gentlemen. If you joined us only later, you might have missed the first Queen Cargo Lux arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. It landed here on the Paban. Another Cargo Lux and an Atlas Air arriving from Miami are now underway. I think Atlas is arriving first. After that should be the second Cargo Lux of the show. Right now we are looking at Iceland Air flight 500 arriving from Reykjavik in Iceland. It is a 767-300, 2 hours and 32 minutes underway. The TFISW, 27 years old, first flight October 1997. EasyJet A320neo behind it, arriving from Edinburgh.
is al in de 7e hemel zit als je naar Londen gaat.
Nou, ik ga hier een huis bouwen en ik woon hier nog gewoon. Ik hoef niks te bouwen, niks.
Volgens mij heb ik al deze man.
Wat mooi is, als een ijscilinder, alle ijscilinders 7 moeten diverten. En dan zie je al die soort stukjes kleur, zie je ze allemaal Parijs staan. En dat is, en dit is het.
I see. A nice refreshment here on a warm day. Speaking of refreshments, good to take in another sip of AMS Live vodka. Almost a liter has gone through already. Embraer 190 passing overhead to Göteborg. Next up, an EasyJet A320neo arriving from Edinburgh. And the airplane that you see behind it is Shamrock Flight 604 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. That's an A321neo. The airplane that you see further in the back is Vueling Flight 8309 arriving from Barcelona. That's an A320. And hey, a 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil is arriving next after that. So that's fourth to arrive over here. Howdy Jan, howdy PT Hommel. Good to see you guys again. And welcome to the show, all others who have joined in the meantime. EasyJet A320neo, flight 23301 arriving from Edinburgh. Flight time 1 hour and 5 minutes. Brand new airplane, less than a year old. First flight was in September last year. And yeah, the bugs have also returned. You can see them. It's a nice warm day here, sunny weather, KVK all throughout the morning. 2 747s are coming. Let's have a quick look and see where they are in the sky so that we know what to expect. The first is Atlas Air. It is still traversing the Gulf of Yorkshire and is expected to arrive and land here at 12:42. So that is only minutes away. Still flying over Wales is Cargolux, which now has an ETA of 114. Flying over German heartland, the Emirates A380, now already number 8 on flight radar, tracked by more than 500 people. ETA 109 unfortunately, and that means it's probably going to land on the wrong runway. Let's see what the METAR tells us in terms of the weather. Temperature has climbed to 25 degrees C, that is 80 F. Still KVK, 6 knots of wind. The wind is blowing from the southeast right now. Let me copy that. And of course, another landing just now took place. Shamrock, flight 604, A321neo. Right, let's paste the METAR in the ticker quickly. Adjust the font size and color. There we go. In the meantime, Denny, Aviation Now, Jan, good afternoon. Welcome to the show, everybody. Vueling is coming in next. Hans' favorite is now arriving from Barcelona. This is Vueling flight 8309. Left from Barcelona 1 hour and 15 minutes ago. 18-year-old airplane, first flight September 2006. And luckily we have a bit of breeze again. Interestingly, the wind seems to be coming from the northeast. It was headwind just now in my face. I hope that the wind isn't going to change direction. That would be a bummer. Alright, time for another wide body. It is time for KLM flight 755. It is a 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil. And we all know where that lies, right? You're goddamn right. 11 hours and 7 minutes underway. The PHBQG Bravo Quebec Golf. 21-year-old airplane, first flight April 2004. Mr. Faircloth, good afternoon, Paul. And good afternoon to all others who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It's a summer warm day here at Schiphol Airport. K. No clouds to be seen. Just an occasional stripe, a contrail. We have wind that is blowing from the east to southeast. Handful of knots. Really warm if you're standing out here in the field because of the lack of wind. Lovely weather. One go around. As it happens, I was showing you guys something in the screen on screen as it happens. Transavia, I think it arrived from Barcelona. Never really found out why that happened, or has anybody heard anything in the meantime? Michael asks if AMS vodka is available in stores in AMS, asking for a friend. It is an exclusive to me thus far. Unfortunately, the answer is no there, Michael. Can't sugarcoat it. It's a very exclusive beverage. KLM flight 1614 arriving from Milan next. 737-800. KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Humberside next after that. And hey, what do you know? An A350 is coming in. A350 from Corendon, and I think I might have it already. There it is. Corendon World to Fly, A350 flying base. That's north of Heemskerk. That is going to be the fourth to land here. It's turning in. I did have a rare supply of vodka from New Zealand once, absolutely. That was very tasty. That was good vodka indeed. Judy also back in the chat. Yillard also back in the chat. Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the show, guys. Summer here in the Netherlands only for a few days, because in 2 days from now the temperature will have dropped. The day's high will be 12 degrees C. It is now 25 degrees C, or roughly 80 F. 12 C is going back to 50 F. So actually quite a substantial drop in temperature. The next airplane to come in is KLM flight 972. That's an Embraer 190 arriving from Humberside. Over there. 38 minutes underway. 11 years old, first flight February 2014. And Lee says C-17 southwest of you, heading over the coast towards The Hague. Right. Right now, only one contrail that I can see south of me, and that's over there. Pretty far away. That's not yet over The Hague. I think it might be a different airplane. Otherwise, I'm not seeing anything looking southwest of me or directly south of me right now. Transavia flight 5132 next to land here, arrival from Barcelona. 1 hour 49 minutes on the way. The PHHZN Hotel Zulu November. 21 years old, first flight March 2004. Elizabeth is off to sleep now. Thank you for joining, Elizabeth. Sleep well and hope to see you again in the next one. Oh. Okay. Okay. What happened there? Was there a bit of a breeze from the right? The prevailing wind direction should be from left to right. Interesting. Airplane looked like it was banking a little bit to the right, as if it was correcting for a draft coming from the right. Or am I now too drunk to see things straight? Nah, that looked weird, didn't it? Next up, Corendon, flight 5997, arriving from Bonaire. Corendon were to fly A350-900, 8 hours and 33 minutes on the way, the ECNZF, November Zulu Foxtrot. The airplane is a year old, first flight was in May 2023. Small wind shear, yeah, maybe. It looked like something, there was a draft or something. But it didn't look like it was from the prevailing wind direction, but from the opposite direction instead. Hey there, Fulco. Nice weird weather indeed. We do need a bit of a breeze here, otherwise it is becoming a tad too warm. My phone is also sometimes dimming the screen brightness as a consequence of the warmth and the relative absence of wind. There is a breeze now, and that is also why my screen once again is at full brightness. Freddy says in Dutch, thanks for the stream again. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Don't tell me you're leaving already. Don't tell me you're leaving already. Queen number 2 is next to land here. Here she is already. Atlas Air arriving from Miami, and it's not even in the top 10 on Flight Radar. What the fudge? It's a 7478, 8 hours and 7 minutes on the way. November 860 Golf Tango, 3-year-old airplane, first flight April 2022. And I see a first cumulonimbus cloud, small friendly cloud, over there, right in the vicinity of the overhead traffic outbound. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So this is Atlas Air, flight 5219, 7478, arriving from Miami, Florida, 8 hours and 8 minutes on the way. 3-year-old airplane, first flight April 2022. Is it going to get loud? That's the question. We've seen Delta A330s using their reversers. We've even seen Transavia 737s do it, so let's look and listen. That sounds good. That was terrific, wasn't it? That's the second of 3 queens, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have to be anywhere, stick around because there is another 747 coming in from the same Miami, Florida, expected within an hour from now. Same goes for the A380, also coming in, expected in half an hour or so from now. Also a massive big thanks to Judy. Judy Berry is celebrating 13 months of membership and she writes, loving the stream from Brisbane, Australia. Thank you so much for tuning in, Judy, and congratulations and thank you for the ongoing support. I'm happy to hear that you're still good with things in the lounge. I'm happy to hear that you're still enjoying the content. I hope that goes for everybody. Thank you for the ongoing support, Judy. Let me know if something is no longer to your liking in the lounge. If we're running low on supplies, let me know and I will see if I can put it on the groceries list and replenish the stock and supplies that we have. Atlas has stopped and I don't know why.
Weet je het dan op? Nou, ga zo even.
Waar koopt hij die scanners?
In de luchtvaart, shop kun je
Ja.
Right, it's slowly moving. Cargolux taking off from Alsmeerbaan. Furthest removed from over here. Only a vague contour is visible. Flaps still extended. They're not retracting it yet. They have lowered the spoilers. That's about it. Too hot to move, Maria says. Could be. That might well be the case. Hey there, RL. Goedemorgen. Good afternoon. In the meantime, TAP Air Portugal has landed here. EasyJet A320neo arriving from Milan is next to land here. It is 12:42 and that means that in 18 minutes from now approximately, Central Runway is also going to open up for arrivals from the east. That's not good news for us in that we are not going to see the A380 up close, but we are able to see it quite well from the side from over here. I think you'll see that you can still see plenty of the A380 from this vantage point. I think with the absence of wind we might even be able to pick up the reversers when it touches down and reverses on landing. Oh, loose feather, get rid of it. Add a boy there, Donald. Donald is making sure he looks good for when Daisy returns. Is that Daisy already returning? I think it might be. Or is that? Chris Coot. No, wait. That's a moorhen, isn't it? With the red on the beak. I think that might be a moorhen. I thought initially it was a coot, but it isn't. There you go. Personal hygiene. Both the ducks. Meanwhile, our next approach is flying base. Behind us, I'm already looking to see. I can see it turn in. That's an EasyJet A320 arriving from Milan. Ah, Clemencia, goedemiddag. Good to see ya. For those of you joining us later, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is a summery warm day here at Schiphol Airport. The sun is shining abundantly. There is a slight breeze. What wind there is blowing from the east to southeast. It's already in the mid 20s Celsius over here. That's in the low 80s F. 2 747s have already landed. A third one is underway. Quick look on flight radar will tell us where the whereabouts of the A380 and the 747 that are now coming this way. First up, we are going to see the A380, which now has an ETA of 1:15. Still having to traverse the Gulf of Yorkshire is Cargo Lux 7478, which has an ETA of 1:14. Okay. Even though to me it looks like the A380 is nearer by, its ETA is a bit later than that of the 747. Now, sadly, we are not going to see both on the same runway. The A380 is more than likely going to land on the centered runway. We are going to see the 747 though, and we are able to see the arrival of the A380 to center from here quite well. So if you don't have to be anywhere, stick around because we are going to catch them all. And vote for Gulf of Yorkshire, says Paul. Yeah, members, you still have until Tuesday for the first round voting. We have 24 competitors, 24 contenders to become the new 30-second custom emoji. Members, you can go to the community section for members and cast your vote. There are 6 polls, each containing 4 suggestions. The 6 winners will compete head-to-head in another second round of polls. The 2 winners from these 2 polls will fight it out head-to-head, and the eventual winner of the third round will become the 30-second emoji. Right now, the placeholder is the orange KLM logo. And Gulf of Yorkshire is one of the 24 contenders. This is EasyJet flight 23853, arriving from Milan in Italy. 1 hour and 22 minutes it has flown to get here. Rolling out now, Austrian registered. ID&T, that used to be a record label here in the Netherlands. Quite well known actually. Gravely Lewis asks if we have wild turkeys in the Netherlands. I have absolutely no idea. Good question. Is there anybody who knows? I'm not exactly sure that we do. I did see a pheasant at the Paban the other day, but that's something different. This is one of KLM's A321neos coming back from Rome in Italy. Flight 1602, 1 hour 54 minutes on the way. And this is the Fax G, which I think is the latest addition to the fleet. Began flying for the first time last month in March. No, wait, 2 months ago. It is already May 1st now, so 2 months ago. I think it is one of the latest, if not the very latest. So as you can see, no crabbing today, unfortunately. There is a little bit of crosswind. It is from right to left. So if there is a bias for crabbing, the airplane should point away a little bit to the left, to their left. Ah, ID&T has now become Q-Dance. Thanks for the information there, PV. I'm still from the time where ID&T was a big thing. First a record label, then they started organizing dance festivals, I think. Weren't they also the ones that first devised Sensation and stuff like that? A franchise which I think is still running. Anyway, I'm digressing, as I often are. M-I-R. Right. More vodka, damn it. Starting to dehydrate. So yeah, there are now few clouds forming, so I'm wondering if it is still going to be Cavo K. These might not be at higher than 5,000 feet. What is higher than 5,000 feet though is this airplane producing a small contrail flying to the west to northwest. Is that Lufthansa? It isn't it? Is that it's not DHL, it's that other cargo airplane, that other cargo operator.
Voordeel dat je hebt in de ochtenddienst dat je dan als je foto maakt dan volgt die je niet wegduwen zon. Dat is het enige voordeel dat je daar dit is het beste plek voor aandoen.
Roy says, sadly I need to sign off and run some errands. Thanks for having me in Lurkers Lounge. See you soon. Thank you for stopping by, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do try to enjoy the sunshine with moderation. And Tom also back in the chat, aka photo for you. Just 15 minutes watching. A380 definitely assigned to Zwanenburg as expected. As expected. Maria also confirming. Thanks guys. This is a MAX 8 from TUI, arriving from Zakynthos. 2 hours and 55 minutes it flew to get here. The PHTFO. 6 years old, first flight January 2019. And the excavator is coming. You might be able to hear it on the mic. Check it out. It is almost like a tank with the tracks. Very particular sound. Hans' favorite is coming in next, Vueling, flight 1375, arriving from Alicante. 2 hours and 12 minutes underway now. The ECKLT, 17 years old, first flight December 2007. So yeah, we have a 747 arriving from Miami, Florida, coming in almost simultaneously with the A380, which is expected for the center runway. Parallel arrivals are going to resume again from 1 p.m. onwards, or at least normally speaking. We did see that the previous inbound rush hour started 15 minutes sooner, but it also ended 15 minutes sooner than normal. Arriving almost simultaneously to 2 different runways, hopefully with enough spatial separation so that we can see both landings individually and don't have to haste or choose. This is KLM flight 1354, arriving from Prague in the Czech Republic. It's a 737-800, flight time 1 hour and 5 minutes, the PHBXE Bravo X-Ray Echo. The airplane is 25 years old, first flight was in April 2000. Insane to the brainy. Maybe I have to go in there to stay sane. So yeah, a few cumulus clouds, very small, very benign, but does that mean, and there's another one, does that mean it's no longer Cavalcade? It depends on how big the circumference is that the lower 5,000 feet needs to be clear of clouds for. Right now, these clouds seem to be at a reasonable distance from the airport itself, so I'm not sure if that means it is now no longer Cavalcade. Could be. Think it is no longer, but doesn't matter. The sun is shining, it's warm. The weather overall hasn't changed. I think we've found out today that the scale of chimney smoke is not so much chimney smoke but chimney water vapor, because you can see there's hardly any vapor left. It really is absorbed in the air really quickly. We also decided that the scale of water vapor, the water vapor smoke doesn't sound that good, so we are going to continue using the phrase scale of chimney smoke. BA City Flyer arriving from London City, Embraer 190, flight 8489, and after that we are going to see a KLM 737-900 arriving from Madrid. The bugs, here in the foreground you can see them. That's not static, that's little flies or something. They're staying away from me for the time being, so count my blessings. Knock on wood, if there is any. Time for a KLM 737-900 and an EasyJet A319. KLM flight 1502 is arriving from Madrid. That's a 737-900, the PHB XS, 23 years old, first flight October 2001, and the airplane behind it is an EasyJet A319 arriving from Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik, that's Croatia, right? That's that small piece of land that basically makes Bosnia a landlocked country. Let's go to the sea. How about no? Screen once again dimming on my phone. Indication of sunshine, warmth. Hey! What's going on here? First Transavia, now KLM, using the reverse thrust on narrow bodies on a day like today. That is interesting. That doesn't happen very often. And the 747 just got confirmed for Polder. Thanks for the info, Duns. As expected, nothing out of the ordinary here either. Question is, which will arrive first and how much temporal separation will there be between the two? If you look around, you can see that there's actually quite a few people that have gathered here today. To the north of me, of course, there are still two people talking next to me, as they have been for a while now. But also looking to the south, you can see quite a few people sitting in the grass here. I think if we zoom in and have a look at the fence at the Spottersplatz itself, you can also see quite a few people. That's always the case on sunny days. And I think the schools are still off because of May vacation. EasyJet A319 having arrived from Dubrovnik. Hadi Flores, goedemiddag. Anita en Lennart, goedemiddag. Welcome to the show, everybody who has joined us. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Thus far, we haven't seen any CRJs in the stream yet. Not landing here. We have only seen a few Deltas, only a few A350s. And we have seen two Queens. A third is approaching and is going to land on the runway we are standing next to pretty soon. The A380 is expected for the center runway, which is going to open any moment now. It is now 2 minutes to the hour. And I'm curious to see which airplanes are going to be the first to go to the center runway. Right now, Sky Express is still on the glide slope to this runway, arriving from Athens. If center had already been opened, it would have gone to the center runway, so that's a clear indication that they haven't opened the runway yet. but it can happen any moment from now. So yeah, big picture wise, still sun, sun, sun. Just a few small clouds over there to the west, to the northwest. Otherwise, no clouds to be seen except east. Further to the horizon, just a few. Also something coming this way from that part of the sky. That looks like a twin jet. Now it is time for Air Baltic. Air Baltic flight 621 arriving from Riga. Bombardier C Series 300. 1 hour 56 minutes on the way to get here. Yankee Lima Alpha Bravo Juliet is the registration of this airplane. It is 2 years old. First flight was in May 2022. Arnoud, goedemiddag. And good afternoon to all who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Summer weather here at the Paban. Arrivals from the north. And in a couple of minutes from now, parallel arrivals are going to begin. Sky Express next to arrive, A320neo. Here it is, flight 790, arriving from Athens. That's usually a 3 hours flight away. Current flight duration 3 hours and 5 minutes, so that's ballpark nominal. Brand new airplane means that it is less than a year old according to Flight Radar, and the first flight was in June last year. So next month, since we are in May as of today, next month it should turn a year older. I'm actually feeling a breeze from behind now. I'm starting to think maybe the wind has progressed and has become now south to southwest. Even though, as you can see by the windmills in the background, there's still hardly any wind to write home about. We're under an area of high pressure, and that means that there's not a very predominant wind direction. Last couple of days the wind has been primarily from the northeast or northwest. Today is the exception to the rule, with wind blowing a little bit from the south. I think the first airplane to the center runway I now see on Flight Radar, KLM Flight 1270, arriving from Copenhagen. Stroopwafel Aviation, goedemiddag. And Jack Wammes, goedemiddag. He is our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Jack, thank you so much for becoming a member. Thanks for your vote of confidence. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. If you want to know where things are, ask around. There are still more than 1,000 members who will happily show you around. If you need to know where stuff is, you now have access to 32 custom emojis. Use them however you see fit. Spamming is not allowed, but you can use custom emojis to your heart's desire. That goes for all members, new and old, whether your membership was gifted or bought yourself. I challenge you guys to use custom emojis the most inappropriate way you know how. Get creative with them. It's all about the fun and laughs. And Jack is now having perfect image, so it apparently was the settings on YouTube. Even if you have it set to auto, it can sometimes automatically go back to a lower resolution. It's always good to check the resolution if you think that the footage looks a bit off and grainy. And if all is well, I should be out on Sunday as well, Jack. It's weather permitting, so it depends on whether it is dry or not. Right now they were predicting some rain for Sunday, but where, how much, when, still unclear. I think personally it's not going to be that bad, so I'm optimistic that I should be able to stream my normal streaming hours today, tomorrow, Sunday and Saturday and Sunday. Donald and Daisy seem to be hesitant. Do we go into the water or not? They've already ventured almost to the edge, so what's stopping them from making the last plunge into the water?
Je kent hoe die correndo vroeger, met die hele mooie tekeningen op dat vliegtuig.
Ja.
Ik was hier weg, die correndo komt. Ik ben hier, hij komt hier. Ik haat het. Wat voor app is het?
There's a feather stuck to his beak. Or her beak. Oh yeah, that's annoying.
Ik moet het weten.
Yeah. No. Rub it along grass. Yeah. Or in the water. Go into the water. There you go. Yeah. Oh right, it's gone now. Yeah.
En ik hoop ik zie de correndo.
Luckily for her. Or him. I think it's a her, but
En die AD50?
right. Transavia arriving from Alicante. Next to land here, 737-800.
Die staat hier. Die is al geland.
And after that, KLM Flight 622, 777-300 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Right, it is 777-300 time, KLM Flight 622, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. There it is. Next to land here. Right now on the way for 8 hours and a minute. The PHBVR is its registration. That's Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Romeo. The airplane is 8 years old. First flight was in May 2016. And Jack says in Dutch, great to see this live. I know it from American airfields, but nice that you are also doing it. Great show. Thanks for the kind words there, Jack. Happy to hear that you are enjoying it. I do the best I can. Clemencia asks if I am going to stream on Monday. The answer is no, I don't intend to do that. Everybody will be off celebrating Bevrijdingsdag, so basically like with King's Day, I'm expecting not a lot of audience. Plus, I'm also streaming on the other days, working on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so I'm already working basically 6 days a week. 1 day off is what I still want to maintain. I think it is not a good idea to drop one of the other streams in favor of a stream on Monday. Indeed, Frank, A380 will land on center, as expected. So, where is the A380? The A380 is over there. Do we have it already? Where is it? Let's see. I had it for a moment. Oh wait, it's still a bit further to the left. This is where I need to look. There we go. Right. Well, timing is perfect. The 747 is still flying over the Gulf of Yorkshire and is still on an extended base leg. This is Emirates Flight 147, now number 2 on flight radar, coming in from Dubai, tracked by 846 people. 6 hours and 32 minutes, the flight time, that is nominal. That's usually what the airplane would have flown at this point in the sky. So a very average nominal flight duration, 6.5 hours. The airplane is 13 years old, registration is Alpha 6 Echo Delta Whiskey. First flight of this airplane was in January 2012. Oh. It is still the old standard livery. Members will already know that they have access to the latest iteration of the standard livery with the ribbon tail. So for those of you who are a member, we have several emojis that you can use now. Indeed, Midvi uses the wrong runway, Emirates, the A380. There's also the quad squad, the emoji that you can use. Airbus, indeed stranger. There you go. Marcos, bom dia. Good to see you again, mate. Yin, also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Design log. Thank you for the kind words, mate. Glad to hear that you enjoyed the stream. If you are enjoying the stream and you haven't already, consider leaving a like and subscribe if you don't if you haven't already. On paper, it should help to promote the channel's content, widen the audience. To those who introduce the channel to those who haven't heard of AMS Live before. Ryanair coming in with reversers. What are they like, eh? Now, if we're lucky, we ought to be able to hear the reversers. Air Transat is next to land here on the Paban. I can hear them, the reversers. Hope you guys can too. Right, let's quickly turn back. We have another area, another airplane of interest. That is right there. The downside of being an airplane preceding a quad squad member is that you usually don't get much love here at AMS Live, and that also goes for the Air Transat, which is a just quote-unquote a narrow body. We're keeping the camera focused on the third queen of the show, Cargo Lux, arriving from Miami, Florida. It is a 7478, 8 hours and 18 minutes underway now. Registration Lima X-Ray Victor Charlie Hotel. You can see the gear extending. Here it is, 12-year-old airplane, first flight March 2013. Previous 747s did use their reversers a little bit. Fingers crossed this one will too. Oh, little fly on my calf. Thought I felt an itch. Bugger off. Hans says reversers, I think, density with warm weather. So does that mean you think they're going to use them or not? Maybe I misunderstood. Hans, goedemiddag. And welcome to the show, all others. Big boy arriving indeed, Abby. Big boy arriving indeed. Cargo locks now 8 hours and 19 minutes on the way from Miami, Florida to Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. Here it is. And again, the airplane 12 years old, first flight March 2013. Vueling A320 arriving from Palma de Mallorca behind it. Alright, the moment of truth. Let's look and listen. Fingers crossed that the pilots will use their reversers. Idle reverse there. You could definitely hear that the engines did not spool up. Or maybe just a little bit. Very moderate. But still, it was a beautiful landing. And it's always nice to see 747s land here at Schiphol Airport. That was the third queen of the show. And in the meantime, a big thank you to Marcos. Marcos super stickered a pair character cheerfully blowing a party horn. Mate, thank you so much for your generosity there, for your super sticker. Party hardy it is. Well, at least it was. Her Majesty the Queen has now landed and is vacating the runway. Now, with the landing of the third queen, I am also going to wrap up the show. It is scorching hot here. I think I am developing a slight headache. So I am going to wrap up and going to look for some refreshment. I am definitely going to come back again for another live stream tomorrow. I don't know yet where I'm going to go to. I think that the runway use is going to change again. And Paban and Central will be used again for outbound traffic tomorrow. Might make a nice change to go for arrivals to the Paban. Might also come back here and film departures. If the wind stays the same as it has been this morning, I might even go back here. Depends on runway use, the wind, and what comes in or goes out. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I enjoyed it very much and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. If you did like the show and you haven't already, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. If you want to help promote the channel's content to new viewers who haven't heard of the channel yet. In the meantime, a massive big thank you for the super chats and super stickers, becoming a member yourselves, gifted memberships and all the other forms of support. A massive big thank you once again to the moderators for keeping the chat friendly and accessible to all. You guys rock and all of you make this channel what it is, and thank you all so much for that. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the sun if the sun is shining where you live. Enjoy the rest of your day, be safe, and I will see you again hopefully tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.